Hi, I'm Elly. Today I'm going to read you a story called Bobby the Policeman. Are you ready to listen? Okay, I'm going to read you this story. Bobby the Policeman. The town of Big Bear sits between Eagle Mountain and Goldwater Lake. Maybe it is a silly name, but Big Bear is a wonderful place to live. You can ski in the winter and swim in the summer. In the fall, the leaves turn red and gold, and in the spring, bear cubs play in the forest. Best of all, Bobby the policeman lives in the Big Bear. One Monday morning, it was very windy. Officer Bobby was patrolling the neighborhood where Mrs. Murray lived. Good morning, Mrs. Murray, he smiled. Did you know your yard is blowing away? A red umbrella was high in the sky with a colorful bunting attached to it. The bunting was pulling over the fence and all of the flowers too. With a scream, Mrs. Murray jumped up and grabbed her wooden fence. Luckily, Officer Bobby was very tall and springy. With a fantastic jump, he grabbed Mrs. Murray's feet and pulled her back down into the yard. Thank you, officer. What a mess. Bending down, Bobby picked up a rose and handed it to Mrs. Murray. It's not a good day to fly away, said Bobby, so keep the umbrella shut. Bye-bye. One Tuesday, Officer Bobby was walking along the town's main road when a boy hurried past him. That's strange, thought Bobby. Then a man went running past too. It was Mr. Johnson, the jeweler. Chase that boy, he yelled. He robbed my store. Bobby ran and caught the young thief in an alleyway. Let's go apologize to Mr. Johnson, said Bobby. You're in big trouble, and I know your parents. Wednesday was Bobby's favorite day of the week. One Wednesday, he walked around Big Bear's only school. He helped everyone to stay safe and healthy. Sometimes that was hard to do. Achoo! Sneezed Miss Alice, the librarian. How will I read to the kids? Achoo! With this cold. Bobby picked up a book and said, Don't worry, Miss Alice, I'm a fantastic reader. Well, I don't know. Early on Thursday morning, Bobby received a phone call and rushed down to the lake. When he arrived, there was a girls' scout troop waiting. Officer Bobby, we found a trapped baby eagle. It has sharp claws, so we can't help it. The young policeman put on special gloves and moved towards the eaglet. He cut the plastic, and the girls cheered as the bird flew into the sky. The next day was Friday, and excitement spread through the little mountain fans. Hundreds of people were in line, pushing and shoving to reach the front. You're acting like a bunch of monkeys, said Officer Bobby with a smile. Let's line up and wait nicely. You too, Mrs. Murray. Finally, the weekend arrived for the town's favorite policeman. It's been a busy week, he said. Time to relax. As Officer Bobby sat down with his jigsaw puzzle, the doorbell rang. The Girl Scouts made cookies, and Mrs. Murray delivered some flowers. The townspeople cheered together. Thank you, Officer Bobby. Oh, this book is too short, so I'm going to read you another book. Wait a minute. The another book is called wait a minute. Okay, then how about we read another book called wait a minute, where is it? I found this book here. Well, although I think we have to read some books more, and I think we have to read this book. I know this book well, and I think it really looks fun. Gordy the Dancing Bear. Okay, I'm going to read you one more book. What is called Gordy the Dancing Bear. Gordy the Dancing Bear. There once was a bear named Gordy who didn't have any hobbies. That's me, said Gordy. I think baseball and golf are pretty boring. He explained, any video games are a waste of time. Most of all, I hate studying for school. Gordy wasn't a bad bear, thought, though. I love my mom and pop, he said. And my little sister Michelle is okay too. One day at school, Gordy was having bad luck. Every student had to join a sports club for the PE class. Gordy walked around the gym. He couldn't find any sport he liked. Hey, big brother, called Michelle. Join the ballet club. Maybe it will be your first hobby. Gordy thought for a minute. Ballet looked easy, but wouldn't all of his friends laugh at him? The next morning was Gordy's first ballet lesson. He packed a secret bag for his tights and slippers and put them on the studio. They're amazing, said Michelle. They're so big and goofy, laughed one of her friends. Then all of the girls circled around Gordy and giggled at his outfit. That's enough, shouted Miss Smith. Leave the poor bear boy alone. Then Gordy and the ballerinas lined up against the mirror. They grabbed the rail and began to stretch. Miss Smith turned on the classical music and showed them a new dance move. Spin like this and hop 3 times. She instructed. Gordy watched his sister and copied her movements. Soon he was having the best time of his life. You are so graceful, Gordy, said Miss Smith. Gordy practiced ballet all the time, and sometimes he invited Michelle to practice too. Did you see the cubs? Asked Mrs. Bear. They're in the backyard dancing like angels, she said. So Mr. Bear looked at the kitchen window. Gordy was throwing Michelle up over his head and she was flying through the air. You're going to be famous, said Mr. Bear. The next day in ballet class, Gordy was dancing better than ever. He was leaping and spinning, tucking and twirling. Some kids gathered inside the studio to watch. Gordy's friends saw him and began to howl with the laughter. You're just jealous, cried Michelle with all her strength. She pushed them back into the hallway. And don't come back, she yelled. Gordy and the ballerinas unlaced their slippers and stretched their legs. I have a special surprise for you, dancers, said Miss Smith. We are going to have a show in the auditorium. Your parents, your teachers, and your friends will be there to see you dance. The girls clapped excitedly, but Gordy and Michelle became nervous. Gordy, said Miss Smith, you'll be our star. Practice starts tomorrow. Finally, the day of the show arrived. In the green slippers and green wristbands, Gordy was ready to dance. Let's welcome our ballerinas, Miss Smith shouted in the microphone. The curtain went up. Gordy danced in the front, center stage. He leaped higher than a deer and spun faster than a top. The crowd began to cheer. Even his friends agreed. He's the most beautiful dancer at school. Okay, and today I read you 2 books. First is called Bobby the Policeman, and 2 is Gordy the Dancing Bear. Okay, thank you for seeing this video. Bye. Bye-bye.